Okay, we are live. Fuck that, we ain't doing that live, ladies and gentlemen, shit like goddamn Poppy's ass. This is the Armor Show.
Oh shit.
Do your introduction, son.
Who's first?
My name is
I don't
Kanashi.
give a fuck.
My name is Kanashi Abominito, and I'm here to say that I hate everyone equally.
Alright, go Thanos.
What
Take it
up,
off,
you?
son.
It's your boy Thanos coming to you live right here on Armor's Sentries podcast where everything goes wrong. Let's go!
You know you were right about that one.
Damn, son.
Get your shit, Poppy. Oh, no,
Can I do
fuck
mine?
Poppy.
Can I do my
Nah,
introduction?
Poppy,
You
you're
ain't
done.
gonna let me
No
do
one
my
wants to.
shit?
You was under the bus last night, motherfucker. Nah, get your ass on somewhere. How the fuck do I kick motherfuckers out of this shit? Go ahead, Poppy.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, we're on Armor shit. I ain't doing all that shit tonight. Go ahead, Armor. Welcome.
Alright,
Thanks for
man.
letting
Hey,
me join you tonight, and maybe I'll help you fuck up your shit like you fucked up mine.
don't fuck your shit up. Shut the fuck up.
Go ahead, player.
Alright, man.
You the host now. I ain't.
Hey, I know I'm
I'm gonna sit back and eat some popcorn too. Shit.
Okay, so why don't we talk about this whole shit with fucking Fallout 4? Y'all was talking about that shit earlier. You and Kenoshi were blasting that chat room. Talk about the NVIDIA and AMD.
Hey, let's talk about that stupidity from a certain YouTuber. I like.
Oh, look, we're not talking about Bear Hugger's fucking damn son, alright?
No,
Bear
not
Hugger didn't pay the child support in this month. That's the reason why that motherfucker came on Poppy's podcast last night. He needed to get some views up and running.
the
That's
original.
all it was.
No, I'm talking about the original Wrong Stop for Gamers. How he was talking about how the Xbox One version of Fallout 4 was dropped to 0 frames. The ridiculousness of that.
Oh, we can get into that too. We can also get into how that motherfucker claimed that he was playing on the PC for the Mad Max shit and he was playing on the PS4. That was an exposed all the way.
Yeah.
This is an open discussion. You discuss, we go.
Hey, Armor, why don't you pop that shit up, son?
God damn, man, you put me
Don't
on
ask
blast.
me how
I'm
you
about to
do that
fucking
shit,
do this shit. Hey, no, but do I get any fucking copyrights or anything off of that if I put that up on the
You
channel?
ain't making no motherfucking money
I
off
don't
of
give a
this
fuck
shit.
about this shit. I just want to know, man. I'm trying to fucking figure this shit
It
out.
doesn't matter, man. You're not making any money, so you can do all kinds of shit.
Hey, my shit's not showing this on air.
It is live. It's fucking live. You got the little yellow thing to the right up here.
Just bring in Levon so he can show you what to do on here, son.
Oh shit!
Yeah, bring in Levon.
son.
Invite Levon, Poppy.
Nah, he's asleep, man. It's 10:30. You know his bedtime.
You know his mommy's got him in the bedroom and everything. Levon, it's alright, man.
Hey, Levon, it ain't that easy, is it, son?
This shit ain't easy at all, son. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. God damn.
Hey, but that Fallout 4 bullshit, man. What the fuck's going on with that? The frame rates and shit, son? What's up with that? Why are people picking on that shit, man? When you should be worrying about NVIDIA fucking you over with the fucking GameWorks and shit.
Yeah, can you educate me on that, man? Because you were saying
Tell
NVIDIA's
people what you really
over.
feel, man. Tell them how you really feel, Thanos. Tell them how you really feel. These motherfuckers. Talk to them down. Talk down.
We should start with the most generalized and most common videos that people go to. That's what Digital Foundry, right? So Digital Foundry has a comparison with the R9 390X,
which is a hell of a card.
Yeah,
good card. Very good card.
The R9 390X versus the GTX 970, which is NVIDIA. So it seems, I didn't hear too much of the commentary of what the people over at Digital Foundry were saying. But essentially, what's going on is, again, like you and I was, pretty much came to the conclusion beforehand, right, Pops, that AMD was going to be crippled due to the fact of NVIDIA Game Workshop, which is a tool that the developers use in order to create their games, and Game Workshop is licensed under NVIDIA.
Right.
So for a while now, people have been saying that any game essentially that uses GameWorks, anyone who has an AMD card get fucked over at least 15 fucking FPS, 15 frames on it.
Yeah, easy.
And yeah, here's Fallout Day 1, and the GTX 970 has an upper hand. Everyone can see it, and the R9 3990X, which is produced by AMD, it's a fucking beast of a card.
Yeah,
You're
very
talking about
good
what?
card.
Almost $500, right? Pops like 450,
Yeah.
430, 429.
The 390X is a hell of a card, man. You're not losing out on performance on that thing. The only
So
thing
what do
that's
you
going
think it
on.
is, man? Do you think it's AMD just getting screwed over by Nvidia, or is
Well,
it
what
Nvidia
happens is
just being
this.
a
I'm going to
bitch?
tell you guys this. The developers, what they do, they get money hatted from these manufacturers. Okay, the manufacturer money had them to use their label, their marketing slogan, the way it's meant to be played, or the game works from Nvidia. And what happens is that they put in certain code, right, to prevent our hardware IDs that aren't NVIDIA based. Okay, so in this case it's AMD, so they're going to put in a code that say if it doesn't if the software does not read hardware code from AMD from NVIDIA, then to basically run at a lower performance level. Okay, and so that's called basically you're handicapping the game that way. And the only way AMD has any way to get that resolved is to work with the developer after the fact, after the game is released, to help them update, which is going to cost them money out of pocket, which people don't realize. That's what they have to do. They basically have to pay their way to get back into the game to even things out. And it'll take about a month or two. But I suspect AMD is working on a driver right now to try to rectify some of the frame rate issues. But as far as the game itself and the bugs and shit that are related to AMD and NVIDIA, that shit has to be worked out by the developer himself. And Bethesda plays this game all the fucking time. That's why I don't understand why people give these motherfuckers praise, man. That's why when I talk to you motherfuckers...
Their games look so boring.
And to top it off... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kenoshi.
I just don't understand why. Like, I don't see the appeal of Oblivion. I just don't see it. I don't... Like, the voice acting never really sounded all that great to me. The gameplay just looked really slow and sluggish, but if people like it, people like it.
PC Master Race is getting 30 frames a second, right?
No, it's 60. It's a fluctuation.
It's 60?
Yeah, it's a fluctuation.
So it's unlocked frame rates.
Hey, can you guys see this right here? Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is AMD's, okay? This is the R9 200. This is basically the R9. This is the R9 390. That's what they did. They rebadged it. Okay, you see this thing called the device ID and vendor ID, and subsystem ID. These numbers, these are the numbers that they put inside the game code to prevent the game from running at optimal settings, because this is going to be identified as a non-NVIDIA game card. Okay, that's what they do. This is the little dirty secret these motherfuckers don't fucking tell you. Okay. Because they want you to they want you to be fucking sheep and follow the herd, okay? They want you to follow the sound of the bells ringing towards the fucking cliff. And the fact is that a lot of fanboys don't understand these dynamics. They don't understand this bullshit-ass bias that goes on in industry, because NVIDIA pays to fuck things up for you as a consumer. And if you buy this shit day one and you adopt these practices and you're okay with it, then you're actually contributing to them continuing this shit. If we don't buy these games day one and we wait for them to get fixed, then what happens is developers have to fucking start actually, they have to stop gimping this shit, because the marketing dollars isn't going to justify the gimps anymore.
I realize that NVIDIA was really dirty when I heard about the GTX.
I've told people this shit for years, man. They were like, no, it's true.
So what you're saying is NVIDIA's being a little bitch about shit, so they're making sure
know
AMD can't go nowhere with their shit.
Listen, anybody that does fucking Bitcoin mining knows that the AMD graphics cards are far more superior to any fucking shit that NVIDIA puts out. That's called logic, okay? The logic within the chip itself is far more superior in processing fucking mathematical equations and theoretical numbers and shit that it is able to do this shit, break down code much quicker, much more efficiently than NVIDIA shit. NVIDIA shit's all about brute force. AMD's a little bit more finesse. They actually have very good fucking design on their chipset, which is actually preferred by Bitcoin mining companies and Bitcoin miners. So I mean, this is a fact. Go and look at this shit up yourself.
And then what happens?
Or next hardware. Go ahead.
And then what happens is this gives ammunition to the NVIDIA fanboys. So this actually perpetuates their agenda, and what is it that they're perpetuating exactly? They're pretty much saying that AMD drivers are shitty. That's the ammunition that they're using, and that's not true. That's not the case at all.
No.
So I've already seen it on the chat. They're already saying, "Oh, it's because AMD is known for shitty drivers," and that's not true at all.
AMD actually, didn't they just release a driver for this game before it came out? A beta. It was a beta.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I was reading somewhere that they're already working on for a fucking driver for tomorrow. There might be a driver. I'm not sure if that's NVIDIA or AMD, but the complaints have been heard, and they're already working on it. It's almost like they already had this shit calculated. You know what I mean?
PC has no exclusives.
What? PC's got no exclusives?
No exclusives.
Grimpachi, what up?
Why you saying that, Grim?
Because they're on the alpha.
What do you mean they're on the alpha?
They're on the console. They're on the console.
So you're saying they have no exclusive because they're on the console?
Yep.
The fuck does that mean, bro? You trolling here? You trolling?
Dead serious.
Oh shit, son.
You're trolling on my first podcast. I see how this is, bro.
It's wordplay.
No love in the house.
It's word.
Hey, I want to give a shout out. I do want to give a shout out to all y'all YouTubers though. This shit was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Goddamn. I ain't even gonna fucking lie, man. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like a goddamn 2-year-old trying to figure this shit out.
Yo, Thanos, how you turn the computer on, son?
Hell yeah, son. I ain't even gonna front. I want to see about 15 exposed videos on that shit, just to let y'all know. So now, Krim, you said PCs ain't got no exclusives?
Nope.
I would love to understand your logic on that, man.
Yes.
Educate me a little bit, please.
I have explained it.
Yeah, you gotta explain that one, bro.
I gotta update my drivers. Hold on, wait a minute. But before I do that, because it's gonna probably make me restart. The Alienware Alpha is a console, right?
Yeah, that's how they advertise it.
I thought that was like a hybrid between a console and a PC, man. Because I said this earlier in one podcast that isn't it basically just hooking a PC up to a goddamn TV and playing it?
Well, let me ask you this: what is a console?
A console is a computer. A console.
Yeah, it's just a fucking low-grade computer that's locked in based off the hardware and the system specs.
But see, that's what I'm trying to say. The low grade, the restriction, they ain't got nothing to do with being a console or not. Nothing.
Okay, so then what has to do with being a console?
All a console is a machine that its primary function is to play games and it connects to a display unit. That's it. That is basic form. All the other because if you drop a console that's not restricted, if Sony comes out with a PS5, right, and call it a console, and they say, look, you can put Linux on the PS3, but you could put this operating system on here. You could do all this crazy crap. No one's going to say the PlayStation 5 isn't a console. You may not think it's one, you may not consider it one, but if it's sold as one, if they chose to do that.
A console is also the black screen.
So you're just saying they're using a play at words with the consoles right now.
Well, that's how
PCs.
That's how it always been. In Japan, what do they call the NES?
I have no fucking idea, bro. I don't be studying Japan like that too much.
The family computer.
Or as we call it here, the family com.
Okay.
In Japan, they would do stock and gamble on consoles, or what we would call a console. It's no different. It's a computer. Like it's like someone saying, how old people say, oh, what you add this up on the computer. They're talking about a calculator. It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whatever you want to call it. Like I use the analogy, there are Jordan basketball shoes that look exactly like Air Force Ones, but those Jordan basketball shoes are basketball shoes and athletic shoes. Therefore, ones are just sneakers for fashion. There are no difference in those shoes. So is Jordan lying when they say it's a basketball shoe? No. Is Nike lying when they call it a sneaker? No. It's advertisement. So if they advertise it as something, I mean, I accept it as such.
Okay, I can see your analogy now with it, man. I understand that to an extent. So you're basically saying, regardless of what we're playing, we're all playing a PC. We're just all playing a cheaper version of a PC.
I mean, whether it be cheaper or not, because at the time, I believe the 360 and the PS3 at the time, like kind of more advanced than gaming rigs at the time. When those dropped, I could be wrong about that, but I think they were high up.
I always thought, from my analogy from everything, man, we've always been 2 to 3 years behind in hardware on when the first console launches. Like if you look at the Xbox One and PlayStation 3, we were two years behind all the new tech for the fucking PCs.
I think that the consoles were like, cause like games like Gears and shit like that. Yeah. Games like that, I think at the time were like shit PC was doing something similar to that, like as in those visuals.
Yeah.
So in that generation, in the beginning, it was actually kind of like close. I mean, PC took off because the console generation lasted for so long, it evolved, but yeah, it is what it is.
Grim, I mean, the Xbox One, the PS4 has like PC-like or if not PC components in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so would it be fair to assume or consider an Xbox One and PS4 a PC? Would it be false advertisement if they call it a PC?
If they called it a PC, like
well, let's say hypothetically that let's say that Sony and Microsoft just decided to call this a PC component, a PC device.
No.
Can it be called that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the Xbox One and the PS4 can be considered and advertised as a PC, wouldn't that override your statement about PC has no exclusives then?
No.
Okay, explain.
Because you're saying we're talking about a what if scenario. The Alien Alpha being called a console is not a what if. It is a console. It's being called one.
But what we're discussing is basically definition versus opinion, and then definition versus wordplay, right?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this because I understand what you're saying, right? If someone just said, if someone said to me, "Is the PS4 a computer?" I would say, "No, it's a console." And they say, "What's the difference?" I tell you honestly, nothing, really. Now, the only difference is that they made this device specifically for gaming, right? And that's what it's going to do best. But really, is there truly a difference? No. But it still is a console. So I understand if someone says if you say a calculator and computer is the same thing, you say a PC or a console is the same thing. Yes. But what I'm more discussing is this, and I think this is where the PC gamers kind of get mad at me. When I say the Alienware Alpha is a console, see, if I would have just said that, some people would have disagreed. Some people would just been like, yeah, whatever, and kept it moving. It's the fact I'm saying the PC has no exclusives. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because PC gamers will say any game that's on another device, whether it be Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, or PC, if it's on something else, it's not exclusive. So that means.
Well, isn't that true though? Because that's how I kind of always looked at shit, man.
That is how it's looked at.
Something from a PlayStation, and then it went to the PC. It's not really considered an exclusive,
of course,
because it's not that it's on multiple devices.
It's on multiple devices, right? And because the Alienware Alpha is a console, not advertised. Now it's kind of tricky because there are some alphas advertised as just miniature gaming desktops, but then there's some alphas advertised as console. So it is complicated. But the ones
advertised as consoles, they would just be using that console word to appeal to the audience that wants to stay on console. There's a large audience that doesn't want to hear that word gaming rig.
You're absolutely right. No different than why back in the day they called, instead of calling the NES the Famicom in America, because back in the day, how could you sell a gaming computer when computers were very expensive and they were looked at, especially in the American audience, not as like a toy. Yeah. They wanted to sell you a toy, so they called it the Nintendo Entertainment System and also designed it better to look like something for the American audience. They designed it to look like a VCR. It's all marketing. It's always been.
Yeah, which technically you're correct, right? But like Grim, like what happens, and I think you know this, you should know this, that you do know that people are not going to accept that, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Because
I mean,
yeah, I'm
you know
just what
what?
I'm saying
Yeah.
is like what you're bringing is logic and facts, right? But
Hmm.
what you're bringing that up against is a belief system, and a belief system overrides any facts, regardless.
In
You know
the
why?
mind
Because
of the believer, you're absolutely right.
yeah, because that's like me telling everybody, right? Congress and everybody in government, including the president, they're all liars. No one's gonna fucking accept that shit. You know, you know what I mean? No one's gonna
I
be
know.
like, oh, you know what? Like, especially when you come to like Congressman, you start telling, hey, the president's a liar. You know, no one's gonna say that shit, even though they know it is possible and most likely, but no one's gonna accept that as a belief. You know what I mean? Through a belief system. You know, there's people out there that just, you know, all cops are good and presidents don't lie and these people have out, you know, the best interest, you know, but you know, reality and facts say another thing. It's just a matter of wordplay and belief system. But I get what you're saying though.
What I'm really trying to explain is this, right? When people say I'm using wordplay, understand that Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, all of them have always used wordplay. But you know,
Yeah,
I'm not even playing with words. I'm not creating words. I'm not creating meanings to these words. I'm using the meaning of words that were created before I even was alive. So because I use, like, if I were to do a college essay on this, right, and I said the N-word alpha was a console, and my one of my sources was Webster's dictionary, no one's going to say, well, Webster's not a credible source. Only in the YouTube comment sections is Webster not a credible source.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But Wikipedia, which anyone can log in and change that shit around, is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's no different than like when they were like, oh, you could change the operating system on the Alienware Alpha, so it's not a console. I can put Windows on a Dreamcast legally.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I'll be
Okay.
right back.
What was the question again? Because I got kicked out for some reason.
Oh, it really wasn't a question. I just came in.
Well, it's not a question. He's saying that exclusives on the PC aren't exclusives because we all basically kind of somewhat play on a version of a PC, even with
Okay.
the
So is a handheld a PC as well?
Is a handheld a PC?
Mm-hmm.
See, there's these things called micro PCs. So I guess it may be considered that if you want to call it that.
Is it a console?
What is?
A handheld?
Is a handheld a console? A handheld gaming console, sure. If
Okay,
you
but
want to call it a handheld gaming console.
you called it a handheld gaming console. But
Yeah.
I'm asking you if it's a console.
Oh, well then no.
You sure?
Positive.
You sure?
Yep.
So what about the Vita? What is that?
A handheld gaming console.
Is it a handheld or is it a console?
A handheld gaming console.
So is it a console or is it a handheld?
It's a handheld gaming console. At this point, we're just saying the same thing over and over and over.
Well, I'm just asking you because you're saying that everything isn't exclusive because it's all PC,
I
right?
didn't say that.
Then
He
what did you
misinterpreted
say?
what I said. What I said
Oh, okay.
was the Alienware Alpha is a console, marketed and sold as a console,
Okay,
advertised as a console, right?
anything
So
is
that
a
means,
console. You know
but
that
what,
Blu-ray player is a console, right?
but no, we're talking about gaming. We're not talking
Okay.
about
Well,
like just
anything can
the
be
basic.
considered a console that attaches to something else. I mean, think about that.
I
You're
mean, yeah, but when we're talking,
But
when
when you're
I'm talking,
talking about gaming, we're talking specifically about video game consoles, right? Which is what they define them as, right?
no, video game consoles. When I was doing the research, right, it's still just under consoles. But when you're referring to video games,
Absolutely,
a,
it's
con- a
under the console. It's under the console, but it's still defined as a video game console.
yeah, they
A
say
PC is a personal computer. A desktop is a personal computer. Just because something is in a form factor of a console that you recognize it as a video game console doesn't mean that it's not a
But
dedicated platform or
but this is
or
this is
PC.
what I'm saying. The Alienware Alpha, right? Just like a PS4 or an Xbox One, it is sold and advertised as a console, right? So and it
I don't
plays.
know.
Well, well, it is.
hold on.
The only thing I looked at was that the
Poppy,
other day
Poppy,
it showed me that
Poppy,
what?
shut your ass up. Let him talk first, then you can go. This is all of a show. I control this shit.
Okay, yeah, you're the boss, man.
Mel
I was just
Rum,
asking the questions. I was
you
just asking
go.
questions.
The Alienware Alpha is marketed and sold as a console, right? No different than the Xbox One, PS4, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to accept it as a console, not really just because of it's being called one, but I can understand why they're calling it one, right? So if it plays games that are available, I guess you could say to be more general on Windows, which means you can play games on Origin, you can go to a website and play games, and all that good stuff, right? Steam, it doesn't matter, and you could pop in, depending on your version, you could pop in a disc and play games off the disc if you want to.
All right, now Poppy, you can go. Take your ass on somewhere. Let's go.
Okay. I'm still trying to ask what was the whole point of that, Grim? Were you trying to bring up the fact or whatever your statement about that the Alpha is a console and it's not a PC? Are you saying it's not a PC?
I said the Alpha is a console.
Is it a PC or is it a console?
It could be both.
Okay, but is a console a PC?
It's advertised and sold as a console.
Okay, but you're saying you were just telling me that there's no exclusives, right?
Yeah.
So can you play Nintendo games on Alpha?
Not legally.
Can you play Nintendo Wii U games on Alpha?
I mean, I can, but like I said, not legally.
Can you play Nintendo Wii U games on the Alpha?
Yes, but not legally.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it's called a
You're
Wii U
100%.
emulator. Yeah, they're Wii U emulator.
You sure that it actually functions
as a
Wii U emulator?
Yes, it does.
Can you show me proof?
Show you proof of a Wii U emulator, or show you proof of someone running a Wii U
emulator? Poppy, we're getting into the realms of unlegal shit in my podcast. That goes to another podcast like yours.
In order for me to show you proof of that would mean that someone.
No, I'm just asking because the fact is that you can't say that you can plug up a Wii U game and play it on the Alpha.
What? Wait, hold on. Wait. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
You're telling me that I have to emulate something. Then that's not playing on the Alpha.
I think he was saying the PC has no exclusives.
That's what I'm saying. The PC.
Yeah, he's saying the PC has no exclusives.
I would
definitely saying Wii U has no.
I would like.
No. I know what he's saying. What I'm saying is that he considers everything a PC or PC.
No,
origin, right?
What? No, that's what I'm saying. Armor Guy, he misunderstood what I was saying and related to you. That's why I was trying to come back and explain myself so you can understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so
to explain what I'm saying is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The PS4 is a console, right? Because they call it one. But if they decide to call the PS4 a PC, I wouldn't argue with that either.
But they call it a gaming console. They don't call it a console.
I know
they call it a gaming console.
Okay, they call it a game. They call it a gaming console.
It's a gaming console. A gaming console is a specific device for playing video games. That's what it is, right?
They call it a gaming console, right?
Okay, so why are we calling it a console then? Because Alpha's actually. I'm looking at it right now, man. I'm curious what you're saying. It's funny because there's always been small form factor PCs. That's what this is.
Of course, but they haven't been called gaming consoles either. Not all of them.
Well, you can tell me what it is. I mean, you can call banana an orange. You know what I'm saying?
That's not the same thing though. I'm not calling it banana an orange. What I'm saying.
Well, you're calling it a PC a video game console. A PC can play games. You can play video games, but it's mainly a PC.
Grim, are you saying like it doesn't matter if it's a walking shoe, running shoes, jumping shoes, basketball shoes, Reeboks, Adidas? They're all still shoes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Of course, but they name them different things. They name the shoes different things to differentiate themselves. That's why I'm trying to explain. That's why the Alpha people are trying to say they don't care if it's advertised as a console, which you already explained. If they believe that, that's fine. Yeah. But when I bring you the factual evidence saying, well, it is one, no different than why they would call a running shoe a running shoe. Not every running shoe made is even designed or tested for practical running. Some of them they just call them fucking running shoes. But it's not. No one's going to sit here and say they're not a running shoe. They're just going to either buy them or not buy them. So what I'm saying is the Alienware Alpha is a console, right? Mm-hmm. It plays games that are available on the PC. No different than if you had a Dreamcast and you bought Windows, you had Windows on it. You could play certain PC games on the Dreamcast. Legally, this is not some illegal mess with the Dreamcast. If you didn't know, it can run Windows CE and it could play certain games. So If the alpha, which is a console, can play PC games, all of them, then what game is exclusive only to the PC?
Do you know what a TI-85 is?
No,
You don't know what a TI-85 is? Did you
no.
guys? Okay, it's a calculator.
Okay.
It's actually it's used for geometry and algebra and all that shit, calculus and whatnot. It's for creating calculations, right? It's got a display unit on it, meaning that you have your ability to display something. In this case, a dot matrix screen at the time. I'm pretty sure they still make them. They probably call them something else, but it's like TI, Texas Instruments. Everybody's familiar with those.
Yeah.
You know, you can have games run on that, right?
I may not be familiar with the name, but is that the calculator where you can play like first-person shooters on it and stuff?
You can have games programmed to run on this calculator.
That's cool.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a console?
No, it's a calculator.
Why?
Is it advertised and sold as a calculator?
Well, you're telling me that.
Yeah, but now you're just playing on words.
But you're not. But you didn't hear me earlier. I said all they're doing is playing on words. So what is the difference?
And I totally agree with you, Krim.
That's what all I'm saying.
But Krim, you're saying you were dead serious, right? Now you're playing.
No, it's not. No, it's not playing. What I'm saying is no different than if they dropped that calculator, but instead of they calling it a calculator, they call it a handheld gaming console because they wanted you to use the gaming more than the calculator part. Then it's a handheld gaming console. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Is that what they're calling it.
What was this whole thing about PC has no exclusive? I don't understand.
Well, where that came from was on one of my videos because when I was talking about console exclusives, because I believe that if a game is on a platform, right? If it's on one platform, it's exclusive, right?
Is it this one right here?
Hmm?
You don't mind if I show it, correct?
What?
Show what?
Your video.
I don't care.
Okay,
well, I did a couple of them. So whichever one is the earliest one, I guess that'll be the first one.
This one's at 39. This one's at 39 minutes. Here, I'm gonna show it.
Okay. I think I don't know which one it is, but
I'm giving a shout out to Grim and everybody. You know, check this video out. But this is the one that he's talking about, right here. Y'all see it?
No, that's not it. I just did that.
You just did this one?
Yeah,
you did say it was the earliest one, correct?
No, the latest one. Whichever one where I first talked about PC has no exclusives. It should have like a picture of that, you know, that PC yellow image with the guy, like he's like the god.
I gotta get my library and look.
But where the idea or the premise came from was when I would talk to certain console gamers about console exclusives.
What the fuck did it take me to his ass?
Console exclusives, most people when they say console exclusive, they're talking about a game that's on PC and one console. And I say, and to me that doesn't make sense because that's just very confusing, like to say it's exclusive but it's on another device. So when I would bring up about the Alienware Alpha as a console, right, and the PC gamers would say, you're right, Grim, the Alpha's a console and that game is on a console, so it's not console exclusive.
Talk about this one right here.
Which one? Let me see. Let me click on your name. No, go one more back.
One more back?
Yeah, like you should see a picture of like of the the PC guy. Looks like he's like a god or some shit like that.
You talking about Mr. fucking Mr. T?
No,
right?
down. You see PC has no exclusives. That one, 4 days ago.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So that's the first video I made about this topic, and in the video I just said PC has no exclusives, and I wanted people to think why I was saying that. So I explained myself further in the comments. Now, not everybody agreed. That's fine. But the reason I came up with this thought process is because if this is a console, which it is, and it cancels out console exclusives, cool. But when I say, well, if every game on PC can be ran off this console, then what game is exclusive to PC? Well, then none. That means PC has no games to itself. It has no exclusives. Now it doesn't make sense to certain people that were agreeing before that it was a console and that console exclusives don't exist.
Yeah, but
So
my statement.
hold on, Poppy.
Okay,
Let
Armor.
me ask you
Go ahead, man.
let
Go
me
ahead.
ask you a question. I got a question for you. You say that PC have no exclusives, right? So let's not go off of hardware or the whole technical thing between the words of names, words of name and everything. Why don't we go off the games? Is there not certain games that are locked only to the PC that we can't get on consoles though? Like
The,
League of
the,
Legends,
al- the al-
Dota.
well, they're on the alpha now, so no.
No, I'm not. Let's take out the alpha for right now. I'm just
Well,
saying.
if the alpha is
I'm
still
talking about
existing,
general Xbox One, PlayStation, the mainstream consoles, Wii U. You know what I'm saying?
well, I mean, there's a lot of games that's not on Xbox One, PS4, and Wii U. You're right. Yeah.
So wouldn't them be considered exclusives though? Because them are the games. Because you know as well as I do, not a lot of people are going to pick up this Alienware Alpha.
I mean,
It's not
regardless.
going to get picked up as much as people wanted to be think.
I mean,
So
regardless if
wouldn't
it
you
get.
consider them not exclusives?
Well, are we still ignoring that there's alpha exists, or are we putting it back into the conversation?
To me, I'm ignoring that it exists for this part
So
of the conversation. I'm just
if I'm
asking specifically.
if I'm in your world and the alpha doesn't exist, then my statement can't be it doesn't exist either because the alpha doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going off of is with the alpha existing in the way the Steam machines are going now, then all PC exclusives are pretty much out the door. Correct?
Well, see, the Steam machines are tricky, just like the alphas are, because there are some alphas that are not called consoles. It's the ones that seem to be more expensive are, as Poppy said, they're kind of advertised as micro gaming PCs. But
Yeah.
then, like the lower end ones or the mid range ones have console slapped on them.
Mhm.
Which is why I'm telling people. That's why I asked in the comments. I say, like, to the PC guy saying it's not a console. I say, well, Alienware should be sued for false advertisement, and they can't say yes they should because they know it doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. They could say it's a console. They could say it's a PC. No different if Sony wanted to call their new station a PC or a console. It really, at the end of the day, can be changed in or out. No different than you can go buy a gaming rig, can you not? But use it for everyday use and not game on it. It still will do what you need it to do, right? But it doesn't change the fact that you bought a gaming rig.
Okay.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Armor. I mean, can I say something, Armor? Because
Yeah, you can go ahead and say.
okay.
I told you I was gonna throw you under the bus.
Grant, I still don't know what you're trying to get at, man. I'm still trying to figure out. Are you saying that just because everything has a computer part in it, it's not considered anything unique because everything can play on everything because everything's a PC originated from PC tech? Is that what you're saying? If that's the case, then you're correct. However,
I'm saying what I'm saying.
everything is designed for separate. If you look at
Oh,
it
I
from
agree with that 110%.
yeah, everything is designated for a certain purpose.
Yep, they
Like I
have.
said,
I brought that up. They have business class computers, and normally
because you
they
have
have things.
calculators that can play games. You have, the 3DS can play 3D and can play music. It can play TV. It could do all that shit, right? Your Vita, you can hook up your Vita. You can stream. You can emulate shit from the Super NES era, NES era, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Your PC, you can do a lot of emulation, but does it mean that it plays it? Like
No, I would not
you would
agree with
put a
that. So,
console game. Because see, if I take a cartridge, for like back in the Super NES days, from one region to another, would they play? Even though they're designed for the same system, essentially, they wouldn't,
if it
right?
was region lock, no.
Because it was called region lock, right? So essentially, once you
Yeah.
region lock, you're violating those terms of agreement that you made with that company. However, that system still exists in the same capacity in another location, meaning that same exact game, whether it's Japanese or American, it still exists and it still only plays on that console or that video game console. Now, the PC Engine was called the PC Engine for a purpose. This is back in the Neo Geo days, right? Neo
Mhm.
Geo called it the PC Engine. Excuse me. Yeah, was it Neo Geo?
I think it was TurboGrafx. Yeah.
TurboGrafx is NEC. I'm sorry, NEC PC Engine. Well, NEC called it the PC Engine because they wanted people to adopt it for the fact that it was actually a costly system at the time, and they wanted it everybody to adopt the personal computer aspect of it, because the fact is that personal computers were very desirable at the time, but they were also very expensive. So, adopting the name PC in front of the engine, you gave a marketing skewed perspective that this thing was actually a personal computer when it really wasn't. So they basically it was a bait and switch, right? Consumers thought there was something else and it wasn't. And then what happened was the consumers got it home, they opened it up, hooked it up, played the games, and said, fuck, who gives a fuck if it's a PC if I can do anything else but play games on it? So are you saying that because everything plays games and it's considered a console that this thing Alpha blends the two together? Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're stating?
Sounds like he's saying it's a hybrid.
I mean, because anything can be a hybrid. I could, you can get a micro, you can get a micro ATX, right? Get a small little form factor cube from Gigabyte and put everything in there, all the same components, similar components to the Alpha, and you would have a small console underneath your TV in the same aspect as Alienware. Now, is that being marketed as a console? Probably not, but essentially it would do the same thing.
So all I'm saying is this, right? If you go, not trying to get your personal life, Poppy, but I'm pretty sure you're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your wife, I don't know if you have children, if your wife, went out and said, oh, I got the kids something for Christmas, and said, I got the Alienware Alpha console. I know that's highly unlikely, more than likely, but she went out, got the Alienware Alpha console, you didn't know about it. I mean, it's a console. They may go in to the store, because I've been in Walmart, they're in the console section. They're sold to people as console. It's called console on the box. So if someone said to you, I got the Alienware Alpha console, you could tell them, and you would not be incorrect that, hey man, that's no different than a micro PC, a micro gaming desktop that they slap console on it, right? But they also wouldn't be incorrect for telling you that it's a console. You get what I'm trying to say? So for anybody telling me that it's a computer, I'm not arguing with you with that. But I'm telling you it's a console.
But Grim, so your statement, right? Like what you're stating is basically a representation of what Alienware is claiming, right? Because that kind of goes like what I've been saying, like I don't know, a couple of years ago, that no one can actually show me a number. You can draw the letter, the number 3. You can draw, the number 2, but that's just a representation. That's no different than saying, if I drew an elephant in my house, do I have an elephant in my house? No, it's just a representation. So is that what you're saying, that your statement is just basically a representation of what Alienware is defining as a console?
Somewhat. I am kind of painting the picture of what Alienware is doing. Alienware is basically, because like I said, there are some alphas they're like small form factor, and they're still called gaming desktops, but they're like the Alienware Alpha is marked and sold as the console. It's actually, the full name is Alienware Alpha Console. Then you have the Alienware X51, and the X51 is about maybe a little bit taller than the Alpha, but that's still a gaming. That's considered a mini gaming desktop. What is the difference? That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. There really is none. That's why, like I said, if Microsoft came out next year, they called their Xbox 2 a gaming rig or whatever the fuck they wanted to call it, they wouldn't be incorrect.
Well, technically, if you want to think about it, I mean, the Xbox and the PlayStation are basically, cheap personal computers in a lot of ways anyways.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just reading something here. Just sort of, can I show this?
Yeah, you can show whatever you want, man. There's no hold bars on here.
Don't hold me back now, Armin.
I ain't holding you back at all. I will throw your ass under the bus after last night, though.
You still salty about that shit?
Hell yeah, I'm salty about that.
You're hurt by that.
I heard it in him.
He wounded you. He wounded you pretty bad.
Can you guys see this right here? Can you see this?
Yeah.
You see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, now I understand what's going on with this whole, wordplay thing. Okay, this is what's going on here. Now, Graham, you obviously stated your opinion on what it is. You're stating what the marketing is telling the consumers what it is. Now I'm gonna break down in layman's terms what it really is. Okay, this is essentially a small form factor PC. Okay, with actually this has except for the higher end, these are actually like laptop components. Okay, you got an i3 processor. That's a low power. Okay. Then you have 64-bit Windows. Okay, a video card, 2 gigs. Okay, GDDR5, 4 gigs of RAM, 500 gig of hard drive. It comes with an Xbox 360 controller. Okay. You got your wireless, your Bluetooth, um, and it's 2 USB ports, with 2.0 on the front, 2 on the back with 3.0, gigabyte Ethernet port, HDMI out 1.48, so you can't really 4K on this. You can't do no 4K on it. HDMI in like Xbox One has, and an audio out with your DC. Now, what all this stands for is basically this is just a laptop, okay, in a small form factor, made it look like a little Xbox actually. It's pretty similar if you think about it, which is very slick for them because what's really going on under the hood is nothing but a small laptop machine, okay. It's called Advanced Gaming and Desktop Performance in one. Advanced Gaming and Desktop Performance in one. So you get to play games, but it's also a PC. Play any PC game in 1080p on the Alienware Alpha.
Hey,
Steam
Poppy.
machine ready. This is a Steam machine, okay?
Poppy.
So what I wanted to point at was this thing right here. This is very slick of them. Combine the freedom of
Poppy,
PC
hold on
gaming.
for a second.
Wait, I want to finish this and then you
No,
can go,
I gotta
okay?
ask you a question, man.
Okay, go ahead.
On the big screen. That's what I was gonna ask you.
Can you see it?
It's not showing up on the big screen for the
You see it?
YouTube. All right, there it goes. There it goes. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you see it now?
Yeah, everybody can see it
Oh,
on the channel.
okay. You should have said that. Shit.
That's what I was trying to get at,
Okay,
motherfucker.
it's
You was going
$4.99.
off on the tangent and shit.
$4.99. You get 10 Windows 8. You can upgrade to 10. 4 gigs of RAM. I don't know if that's enough, but anyways. But what I wanted to show you guys here, right here, it says combine the freedom of PC gaming with the ease. Remember, the truth is always in the small print. Combine the freedom of PC gaming with the ease of a console on the new Alienware Alpha. The customized Alienware UI user interface. This is going to have a graphics user interface, basically like a Steam sort of thing.
Yeah, like the big show, whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So it's going to make it easy. Once you plug it into your TV and you turn it on, you're going to get the same sensation, same little tingly feeling that you get every time you turn on your box. It's going to make it easy for somebody that just wants to play a game. However, all it does is basically it's a shortcut to Steam. So essentially, this is a Steam machine. Okay, they had to change the marketing on it because the Steam machines, as a name itself, as a brand, as a marketing scheme right now, is dead on arrival, if you ask me, in my opinion, because there isn't an identity. So what they did, they adopted the identity of a console. However, this is a desktop computer. And I'm surprised they don't put this with the Steam machine controller, and they give you an Xbox 360 controller. So
because they're trying to separate. There are alphas marketed as Steam machines, and then there's ones just marketed as separated from them.
Yeah,
right.
because the Steam machines aren't looked at highly right now, and that's warranted, I believe. We talked about this, you know?
Yeah, but this is like my question though. Are they technically wrong? Is that technically or you can look at it the other way. Are they technically still correct for calling it or marking it as a console?
Actually, that's misleading, to be honest. Now looking at
It could
that,
be misleading, but
it is misleading.
are they wrong then? That's completely false then. It's not.
Yeah, it's a Steam machine. Basically, it's a computer that boots up into Steam.
But
a
then,
Steam iOS, excuse me, a Steam OS with a shortcut to the Steam OS. That's what it is.
but then my question would be, why is that wrong?
Because it's misleading to somebody that thinks that they're going to just get on Xbox Live because the Xbox 360 controller comes with it, and they're going to have the same feeling and sensation that somebody from Live gets.
But
It's
why would they
misleading in
think?
that
Why
way.
would they think that when you go? Because I've seen them. clearly says
I'm
Alien
just
were on the
looking at it
console.
from the like the
Well, I'm just talking
realistic expectations of what consumers have.
I mean, even if so, even if the consumer gets confused. Well, what I'm saying, and I guess what Thanos was trying to say too, is Alienware lying by saying that it's a console. And if they are lying, why have they? Well, I mean, probably
You
because
know,
no one.
for all intents and purposes, they could have put this in a laptop format and it would have been the same shit. Okay.
Could we also not say that like the what's inside of the
They could have
Xbox,
done
the
the same thing.
PlayStation, they could do the
Yeah.
same thing, right?
They are. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing I'm saying. You're asking me if they're lying about what this thing is as a console. This is not a console. This is not a console alone. This is a personal computer guised in the form factor of what most people consider a console. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less.
Can I
If
ask
you're
you a question?
just a console, that's not what you're going to get. The experience is going to be a lot different because you still have to go through a lot of different little things to get to the gaming experience. Meaning you still have to go and register with a Steam account to download those Steam games because you don't have a actual disk drive in this thing, so you just can't pop a. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it has no disk drive
Did you
whatsoever.
notice that, King?
There
Did
aren't
you
any.
notice
I
that?
thought there were some that have disk drives.
Look,
If I'm mistaken, then
you
I
guys see this
apologize.
right here, right?
You know what, this is interesting because let's say you see a
This is
game, right? And the game says 60 FPS on it. Like that's just let's say that's the game, right? The game it's big bold letters. Game at 60 FPS. But in the fine print it says up to 60 FPS. Are they lying?
No, they're not technically lying because I mean it is going up to 60 FPS.
yeah.
I mean, because they could say it's locked frame, they could say it's unlocked frame rates.
It's just
Okay.
like recently Sony got
But,
sued for Killzone because they
but
tried to say that the multiplayer was native 1080p. It wasn't. If
See,
they would
but
have just said some other
Daniel,
shit, they would have been fine.
when they give you those numbers, they're not telling you what resolutions and what type of fidelity levels you have to reach.
right.
So it
So
is misleading in
it's
itself. It's all
misleading.
marketing.
So
It's all marketing.
misleading and lying are two different things then, right? Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Well, misleading, you're not telling the truth straight up. You're not being upfront with people, but you're disguising the realities with marketing speak. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's basically being.
Now, if you feel as a consumer you're being lied to, that's up to you. If you're a savvy person like us that we know better, okay, well we know what to expect. We've been burned so many times. We know that this is bullshit, and we know we have to do some fidgeting around with numbers and shit, move around settings to get the performance that they say that we can get.
Well,
Right.
let me ask you this: How would you perceive if Alienware wanted to come out and in your eyes make an actual console? What would they have to do?
Well, that to make it look like an actual console. I mean, first of all, if you want, you're just saying you pop in the disc, right? You
Mhm.
pop in the disc. You can't pop in the disc. There's nothing here. Look.
So to be a console, you would need a disk drive.
Well, you need some
No,
type
that's
of.
not.
Well, I mean,
Hold
if
on,
you call it a
Poppy.
console, you said that you can just go in and pop it in the store,
No.
get it at the store, and pop in a game, and that's it. You call it a day.
You could go to the store. See,
So
I
now
thought
you're
some of
telling
them.
me I have to get a extension or excuse me, an external disk drive to hook it up to this, right? So now
For the
you're
disk
asking me
drive,
as a
yes.
consumer as another step. So as a console, what's so great about a console is that it comes with everything you need to play right out of the box. If you want to take it that literally, it comes with everything you need to play right out of the box. This
So does
doesn't.
the Alpha.
No, it doesn't, because you still have to connect to Steam. You have to start up Steam. You have to buy the game through Steam. If that's what you want to
I
do,
mean, the
that's
Xbox
what you
One
have to
doesn't
do.
come with internet when I first buy it either. But I would have to have the internet to even play my Xbox One. But no one's going to say that's not
No,
console.
that's not
Well,
technically
actually, that's
true.
not
You don't
true.
have to have the internet
That is
to
not
play
true.
the Xbox.
There,
It's not
King.
true.
That is
No,
not
you
true.
do not. That's
You do
false.
not have to have.
That's a false statement.
That's not a
I
true
don't need the
statement.
internet for my Xbox One.
No, you don't.
No.
So they fixed it where they already have the day one patch pre-installed.
Let me put it this way. I have my brother-in-law, Dylan Weeks. He's in the Navy. He has an Xbox One that he takes on.
I don't have anything else to say on this.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. What I'm saying is when you
But
get an Xbox.
what I'm saying is he's never hooked his Xbox One to online, and he plays it from day one that he bought his until now offline. and he takes it on the boat, does everything.
So he's never had to install a day one patch.
He's had to install that day one patch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
but that's about it. But if you're just talking about specific on that day one patch, then yes, you would be correct.
That's all I was talking about. So when you get home, right, the Xbox One does not supply you with internet access, nor does it supply you with an internet provider. You cannot play your Xbox One day one unless you have the internet or some way to get it to install that patch, right? To this day, they don't just install the patch for you, which I don't know why they don't do that. What I'm saying is everything that we think, and trust me, I used to think the same way until I started a little bit of research.
Well, I think the Xbox One, if it has to have internet, I think it states that directly on the box, right? Broadband required.
Yeah, it states that on the box.
So it's not lying to you. You're talking about them misleading you. We're talking about misleading and.
I mean, it's like I said, I'm mistaking myself with the disk drive. I don't think the Alien Alpha on the box tells you it has one and it doesn't come with.
Well, it shows you there's no disk drive on it. It shows you there's no.
Look, I'm gonna have to state this too with this. Look, I'm a digital person, so personally to me, I kind of like that because one of the problems with a lot of times with consoles is you get some wear and tear with the disk drives, or sometimes you'll get them consoles after a while the disk drives will fuck up and you're gonna have to go buy them anyway.
Do I like the sleek form factor for just to put underneath my television? Hell yeah. As a PC guy, I like that shit. But is it going to offer me the performance that I, as a PC enthusiast, would love to have? No, it wouldn't because of the form factor. Now that's where you get the trade-off. You're not going to be able to put in a fucking GTX 980 and run that bitch full power. Because first of all, you got to have a power supply to power that.
More powerful than the PlayStation and Xbox One.
If
I was looking into being a novice PC gamer, which I am, I'm a novice PC gamer. Would that be something that I would want to buy?
Well, this is the options right here. You have video cards right here. You got 2 gigabytes of GDDR5.
Well, walk me through this because, like I said, I go to
see this right here? Can you guys see this right here?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to get a better processor. You can get a quad core over a dual core. So for $500, you get a dual core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and a 2 gigabyte GDDR5 graphics card. What kind of graphics card doesn't specifically state. But let's press this 2 right here. Because this is all. Remember, I said in the small writing, the truth is always in the small writing. Okay, this is one to tell me. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to check down here, see if they have it written down here somewhere at the bottom. Because sometimes they do that. Usually, they try to hide the graphics card because that's actually your crucial performance right there. See if it's in here. They're not telling you what kind of it's based on Maxwell, but it doesn't want to tell you which Maxwell it is. For all we know,
are they hiding this shit from us?
Yeah, they're hiding the GPU from you. They're not telling you what kind of GPU. Let me look.
I think it's like a Micro 860, 870. I think. I'm not sure. I think it's an 800 series.
Don't get so wrapped up over the first number. That's always the misleading number. The number that you really want to concentrate on is the last 2. So if it's a 60 series or 70 series or 80 series or 90 series, that's what you want to concentrate on.
So here's the question, though.
That big numbers, huh?
Here's my question, Poppy. For someone that's a novice gamer like me or Matt,
doesn't look like you can change
buy
your
PC, would this be something that we would be filled to pick up?
No, as a novice person, you still have to go through a lot of stuff to get things running, and you won't be able to really do much with your GPU. So if it's a very demanding game,
so you're saying this is a waste of time. Like if I wanted to go
because you only got 2 gigs of you only got 2 gigs of GDDR5, and didn't you guys just see the whole debacle with Call of Duty Black Ops 3? 8 gigs isn't even enough. 12 gigs isn't enough. All these games are coming out, people, and this is what it's suggesting, that you're going to have this high performance require a lot of RAM.
So
what's happening is this is not going to offer it to you.
Is it a mixture of bad coding and new
the max you can get for $800? I mean, I'm sorry, for $800 I can build a better PC. It may be a little bit more bulkier, but I can build a better PC. Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure I can download that nice little user interface that they use from somebody on the internet, right? Because that's all that is. I mean,
what user interface?
I have a
Alienware is using a shortcut user interface. Direct. Here it is. Can you see this right here? This is the little writing right here that they don't really want you to notice too much. You see this right here? Combine don't forget that part right here. This is the part you want to know. The customized Alienware UI provides easy access to thousands of Steam games right at your fingertip. Essentially, this thing shortcuts you to Steam. Okay. Now that makes it easy for a noob, right? That just wants to play a game, pick a game from the little lineup, from basically like the big picture mode, and hit start and start playing. However, you're going to pay for better performance. Actually, you're paying more for RAM and a little bit better CPU. So, I mean, it's up to you if you're going to pay $100 or pay $399 and get you a PS3, a PS4, or Xbox One, or whatever they're charging for those things now. I think this is going to be disappointing, people. Yeah, this will be very disappointing.
So you're saying it'd be best to stick with the consoles or try to invest into an actual
You don't want
good
all the
PC?
hassles of Steam and trying to figure out if you're going to be able to play the game in full settings. Either build your own shit and pay the money, which is between, we said before, what, $2,000 if you want to do nice, frame rates and shit, or $1,500. Maybe $1,000 and $1,500 get you a nice little PC.
Yeah, but that's just the PC. That's
What they're
the monitor and everything else, right?
No, essentially what they're doing is they're selling you simplicity. Because
hold on, Thanos. Is that counting the monitor and shit too? Out of that
no,
1,500 to 2,000, or is it just counted?
Yeah, you can access to your TV. They're giving you basically what they're giving you is a console. You just plug it into your TV, you grab the controller, and you sit on your couch. So it's they also consider like the couch experience, the couching gaming experience as well. So that's really catered to guys who have no interest in touching the PC, like building one. So like with me, I don't know anything about cars. Now I can build a car for $10,000, right? I just buy all the pieces and put it all together. But here's the shit. I don't know how to put a car together. So I'd rather spend $25,000 and just have it drive to my garage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same concept, different, components, but it's, same thing in concept. So like this machine is basically for the guys who are intimidated about PCs. They don't want to spend $1,200 on the PC because that's what everybody says. You know how that shit goes, and they don't want to build one. So
you're talking about someone like me yet again. You're talking about someone that's a casual that doesn't really want to jump into the PC community.
If it wasn't for this and you wanted to get into PC gaming, you would have gone to like iBuyPower.com, because that's essentially what they do. They build you a PC, you pick the components, or you just pick a package based on your budget, and they have it shipped to your house. And a lot of guys do that, like guys who don't know and don't want to build a PC and have no interest. That's what they do. But so this caters to a different audience, and it's simplistic, it's familiar, it's like for a soccer mom, it's for people like Dave's had enough. You know what I mean? Who's kind of interested but don't want to spend a lot of money. He hates complicated shit. So if you see something like that, then I can see how this is trying to target an audience. So to me, this is like a beta. If this actually takes off, which is good, I hope it does.
But that's what the Steam machines are supposed to do, Thanos. If you want to get technical about that, that's essentially what Steam machines are trying to deliver. Right. However, I stated that the Steam machines have no identity. Why? Because the pricing is all over the place. There's not really one form factor or another.
Yeah, depends on the manufacturer.
It's very confusing. However, the one thing that it is consistent on is that it's going to be loaded up with the Steam OS, whatever the hell that is. So this is going to be running on Windows. Windows uses up a lot of resources. You're already short on resources. So then on top of that, you add another UI, and then you have Steam running, and then you have the game running. So whether you're going to get the performance, the ease of use that you think it's going to bring, I don't know. I can't vouch for that. In my opinion, it won't. Okay, because you're going to be doing other shit besides playing games, and once you start doing that, and you start introducing other applications, what do? You start fucking up with the registry. You start messing up with the stability of the system, and then people are going to be bitching about all this shit's some bullshit. They say I can use the desktop and all that shit. So for me, as a PC person, somebody that knows the shit about the PC, I wouldn't recommend this. If you're going to do the Steam thing, go get you a Steam OS machine that's dedicated for Steam OS.
So you said that it can upgrade up to Windows 10. So they don't have Windows 10 on there then?
No, it's got 8. It's 8.1.
Mm.
And I know Windows 10 is a lot smoother and all that, but 4 gigs of RAM, Thanos, you got 4 gigs of RAM, a two-core processor, 2 gigs
Eh,
of RAM on a GPU, and then you're trying to run all that shit on it. I don't know if that's going to work, man. I don't know if that's going to run. Plus, they give you $100 worth of games, so that means they already know those games are running fine with it, and they're very, except for
Yeah.
Metro Last Light, aren't very demanding.
And
okay.
we already know, like, when they squeeze PC components into really compact,
You got heat, man. Heat
you
kills your
got heat and
performance.
you got the jack of price. That's why you think laptops, man. Laptops are like $2,000, $3,000, $2,500, $3,000 for a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those things are
Thanos.
expensive. Yeah, baby.
All right, chill out for a second. Grim, I got a couple of questions for you.
Go ahead, shoot.
What's up with you and Black Bond, man? I was reading through these comments while we were talking, man.
Oh, shit.
What is the situation and the beef between you and Black Bond? I've been
Ain't no
wanting to
beef
know
between
that,
me
and
and
now,
Black Bond. Black Bond didn't agree with what I was saying. That was it.
okay, that was it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, man, because I was there.
It
When
was
you had,
funny. He didn't agree with what I was saying, but he actually did because he turned around and said, by the actual meaning of the word console, then that means my computer's a console. And I'm like, if it's primary used to play games and connected to a display unit, normally a TV, if you want to call it that, sure.
Mm.
So he really didn't even disagree. But see, like I said, I don't think the PC guys would have been as mad with me if I didn't bring up the whole no exclusives thing. That's it. If I would have just said the Alienware Alpha is a console, some people would just be like, I don't consider it one, whatever. Some people would be like, yeah, it is, and it would have been whatever.
okay, so you don't have any personal beefs or anything
Nope.
like that, or any of that YouTube drama bullshit with Black Bond.
No.
Just checking. All right, because I know you had your issues with One Stop.
I wouldn't. Like
can't
I
really-
explained to Thanos, I can't have issues with someone I do not know very well. Like someone like no offense, but to anybody on here, I respect you guys. I talk to some of you guys a lot, and some of you that I talk to, and I consider some people I consider friends. Some people are just heavy acquaintances. Like I don't wish no ill will on anybody, but a person I talk to from now and again, if someone said, oh, they passed away, I'd be like, that sucks, but I move on. It won't be even a thought. I'm not saying I hope dude dies. I'm just saying it wasn't that deep.
Okay,
So,
so let me ask you another question then. What is the purpose of your channel? Someone that
purpose of my
just
channel
first
is
time
to-
ever done a channel showing or podcast or whatever. What's the purpose of your channel? Walk me through
Purpose
that.
of my channel and the purpose of everything I do is just to spark conversation and to make people think. I'm not saying you gotta think like I do, but I like to get information and to learn new things, and I can encourage people to do the same thing. Like I'm on my computer, I game, and every now and again I just search some shit like shit I talk about all the time, and I want to know more about it, so I go look it up. That's all it is.
So you like to challenge people's belief system?
No, I don't like to challenge your belief system. I'm gonna be in here talking about your religious beliefs and nothing. I mean,
No,
look,
not like. I mean, we have beliefs in everything.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's the thing. See, with me, it's tricky because I would never. What you're saying is right. A belief system is a belief system, no matter what it is. But I wouldn't. I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, I'm challenging people's belief system by saying the PC has no exclusives by bringing up the alpha. I'm not even thinking I'm not thinking that deep about anything.
Oh,
I'm
you
not here to-
challenged my belief system about it because I didn't even think about it like that.
that's the cause and the effect, but that was not the reason I did it. So if I did it and it offended somebody, I apologize, but that wasn't my intent. My intent was just to make people think.
But Grim, the Alpha is a computer in a form factor of a console. You're correct. That is a console in the form factor of a console. Is it a video game console? Then that's the debate right there.
I would say if I wanted to take my opinion out of it, because if you truly ask me as a person that games on PC, if you said, hey, look, I want to get in the PC game and should I get a alpha, I would say no. If you say I want a game, I want to get a console, would I recommend the alpha? Hell no. I wouldn't recommend that for nobody, really, to be honest.
You wouldn't recommend it either.
No, but if someone asked me,
good. At least we agree on that. Yeah.
If someone asked me if it was a console, I'd say yeah. I just wouldn't recommend it to you because I just think it's a, like you said, it costs too much money. You could spend You can
You
spend
can't even
$500.
upgrade the fucking thing, man. That's one thing. If
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna fuck me like that, give me some upgrade room, man.
You could barely upgrade it. Like I know some people.
But let me ask you this though: you're talking about not upgrading and everything. You can't upgrade the Xbox One or PlayStation.
You kind of can. You know, it depends.
What I'm saying, isn't that what they're kind of trying to do with the market that leans towards console gaming?
Oh
Is, you know,
shit! Damn, that's
think
a
about
good
it like
question.
think about it like this. You know, I'm a console player.
Mhm.
And I ain't big
Yeah,
into
man.
doing that
You gotta go,
upgrading and doing that software and hardware bullshit, right? So for me, that would be a good thing because what I buy is what I buy. I don't have to sit there and fucking next year have to worry about getting a new graphics card, yada yada yada. So wouldn't that appeal more to someone like me compared to someone like you? Still?
Not really, because that's all up to you. You know, you can go
Well,
get a
that's what
rig
I'm saying.
from
It's a
you can go
personal
get a rig
preference.
for you can go get a rig for iBuyPower, buy that rig, and never upgrade it ever. You know what I'm saying? Like you wanting to upgrade is up to you. Just like you can upgrade the alpha, but it's not enough. It's not enough room. You're going to be taking some chances on
Yeah,
certain things. Like if you want to
not
upgrade the
enough
RAM, you
headroom.
can do that.
Yeah.
You know, I know some people that changed out the graphics card and put a 970 inside, and they are fine. Like it's no different. You can upgrade your console, hence why they have modded consoles. Or if you want to be simplistic about it, I can upgrade my hard drive in my PS4. It's still an upgrade, even though that may seem very simplistic. It's an upgrade nonetheless. So to say you can't change out parts in a console, you can if you know what you're doing. No different than way before I was even born. And Thanos, if he was dealing with PCs, he would know about this. Computers back in the day were not so easy to put together for average Joe Blow.
No, not at
They
all.
were not at all. Like period. You know, you probably open up a PC, it'd be no different than open up a console. You'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, you wouldn't even be able to comprehend what you're looking at unless you had some knowledge. Like nowadays, like when people say putting a PC together is like Legos, it really is. The motherboard tells you everything goes. You make sure you handle it with care. You snap it in correctly. You'll be all right. You know, you need a guy, go watch somebody on YouTube. You'll be okay.
Yeah, it's like with Pops. Remember Pops? There was no Windows. Everything was everything was like DOS.
I think he dipped out. I think he dipped out. Like I remember, like to bring up like when I'm the other thing that I was talking about why I want people to think is because everything you think a console is really has nothing to do with being a console. Small form factor. Well, if the Alpha's not a console, then because if you're saying small form factor has to deal with being a console, well then the Xbox One's definitely not one because the Xbox One is huge. You know what I'm saying? Like that, none of that has nothing to do ease of use. All that, those are some of the traits, but that doesn't make it what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like some people would say that a wolf has the traits of being a ferocious beast, but I'm pretty sure you can go find a wolf out in the wild that's a puppy dog and won't do nothing to you. So it doesn't mean it's not what it is.
Right. Like these type of topics are like the most complicated because you're trying to discuss things and objectively and not do it subjectively. So you're trying to discuss shit without using your emotions. You know, you're trying to describe something for what it is.
Let me stop you right there, Thanos. I have no
how you
emotions.
feel.
I have no emotions, so I can't.
Everybody has emotions, bro.
No. According to
Not
people,
to
I
show
don't have
them.
any. According to people, I have no emotions, so that kind of helps. You know, I have no emotions, so.
Hey, like I said, everybody has emotions. You just choose not to show them. That's the difference.
Yeah. Like I could give you another example, and I think this is a fucked up thing, right? 100%. And it's not. I don't think what the Alpha's doing. I don't think that's trickery. Honestly, I don't. But this is some fucked up trickery. If you know about the health system, right? You know about your school, the schools in the health system. You know that because you know how public schools serve pizza, right? They serve a lot of pizza because they're able to, because there was a regulation saying that kids have to have a certain amount of vegetables. Do you know pizza in certain schools is considered a vegetable?
How's that?
Because it has so much tomatoes in it. It's considered a vegetable or fruit, so they can keep giving you pizza because pizza is very easy for them to serve. There was a whole documentary on it. So the kids are eating pizza all day, and the reason they're getting it is because the school is kind of like, it's not really the school. It's more the people in charge of the food that comes to the school is like, well, technically it's a vegetable or it's a fruit because it has so much tomato.
There's an element of a fruit in it, then, right? It's basically what they're saying.
But see, you have to have. It's no different than how fast food joint says this is 100% ground beef. It's not really because according to whoever controls that regulation, as long as they have this percentage of ground beef, you could say it's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no different like those raw drinks, and they even spell raw differently. They spell it RAAW, and they advertise it as a vegetable drink. And the thing is, if you read the small label on the fine print, it says pasteurized. Pasteurized means cooked, and when you cook vegetables, you cook out you take out all the nutrition basically. But they advertise it like that.
And see, that is, although similar, I would say that's different because I don't know anybody that would say pizza is a vegetable.
No,
So
no,
and I don't know anyone that would consider it. But now, to be fair though, if someone were to say it was, by the knowledge that I know, I understand why they would say that. If they were talking about the same thing I knew of. Now, if they were just saying the shit to say it, then I don't know what the hell they talk about. But if they said, pizza is a vegetable because, or it's a fruit because, the district thing and blah 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 blah, I will understand what they're saying because I understand where they're coming from. Now, the console and the PC thing, like I said, this is just the meaning of the word. I'm not even like playing with hairs. That's why when people say, "Oh, Grim is doing wordplay," or "You're stretching for stuff," I'm not reaching for anything. I went to a dictionary that everybody seems to use, Webster, and looked up the meaning of a word. That's all I did. My video and everything came from a 5-minute thought process. I'm not a genius. You know what I'm saying? It was very simplistic. So that's all it was. It's not me doing trickery. It's not me trying to fuck with people.
Right,
It was really to spark conversation because, like I said, and there are some people that are mature about it, and they're like, you know what? To be fair, this thing is a console. It's sold and marketed as a console, and now that Grim has kind of brought to my attention, like, why is my PS4 a console? Really, it's just because they called it one. That's it. Just like me and Poppy were just talking about, they could put the same parts in a PS4 onto a laptop and call it a fucking laptop. They could. It doesn't.
All right.
But that was pretty much.
I get everything that you're saying, man, and I do appreciate you coming in here with that. But it's been about an hour now, and I know it's about 12 o'clock my time. So let's wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm through talking about that. Yeah.
And I know all y'all want to get ready for this Fallout 4 that's dropping for the consoles people that are getting ready to play it. Also,
playing it on PC, I hope it works.
How buggy do you think it's gonna be? Before we wrap this shit up, how buggy do you think that's gonna be?
Oh, I mean, from what I heard, like for PC, if you know what VSync is, from what I'm hearing, VSync isn't even an option like it used to be. Like it's not there or some shit like that. You got to go do some other crazy shit to get it on. So that's gonna be annoying. But I just hope it works, man. I spend my money on it. I don't want the shit to be fucked up, but I'm not an idiot either.
Oh, Graham, you've been screwed. You've been screwed.
I suggested not.
Busted out of hell.
I optimized not to get it on day one, man, because I know Bethesda, and Bethesda will always seem to want to fuck you over.
They definitely will. The thing that irritates me a little bit, and I don't want to get into a deep conversation because you want to wrap it up, is that I like Bethesda's games, and I even like the games they publish, but like I can't keep supporting the fuckery. I get people are fans and they like what they like, but damn, like after you done bought so many broken games, I don't see how you keep buying this shit.
Here's my thing, man. This game's had what 3-year development time. It should not come out with any broken bullshit. That's the way I'm looking at it. I mean, when was the last game that Bethesda worked on?
I think it was Skyrim.
I think Skyrim was the last game because they didn't do Elder Scrolls Online. That was done by a different company.
Yeah. And that was and Skyrim was fucked up, especially on PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they've had all that time to work on this game. So the way I look at it, there should be no fucking excuse whatsoever.
But they already made all their money that they needed to make, and then some in the pre-orders. So.
Oh yeah, and then you got the season pass. How much is that season pass going for?
30.
25, ain't it? Oh well, I'm on PC. My bad. Sorry.
Well, regardless of what it's going for, 30 on the PC, 25 on the Xbox and PlayStation, it's still pretty fucking, about $80. Well, no, it depends on the edition you're getting too. So you're looking anywhere between $80 to $120 or more. So, speaking of which, Grim, you did you catch our debate last night?
No, no, sir. No, sir.
Now that I get a civil person in here that
Civil.
that actually has a good mindset. So we was debating about microtransactions and shit, and I do want to carry on for this for a second. Are they good for the gaming community, and do you feel that the Xbox or Microsoft percentage is the ones that brought microtransactions and DLC to our community, which is supposedly from what the YouTuber I was discussing was he feels that microtransactions and Xbox is the one that uh, started that whole franchise, which I actually did a little bit more research into it, and it was EA that came more into doing microtransactions for the consoles at first than it was any other company. So, what do you feel on that aspect? Because I
Is
know
it?
it came from PC.
I
I
would
mean,
say
is,
arcade.
is it is it good? Is it good for the? Is it good for the community? That's I can't answer that. That's really up to the individual. Personally, I always say if it doesn't affect me as a player, because I play a lot of games that have microtransactions, and honestly, uh,
Well,
I don't feel like I have to buy them. I think that's fine. I don't care if they're there if they're not forced
well,
upon me.
here's his issue, and this was his main issue about it. They put microtransactions in Halo 5, so he was bitching because they put microtransactions in Halo 5, and he was saying that that was somewhat one of the reasons why it was ruined because it had short campaign, it had playlists missing at launch. Which, if you know anything about first-person shooters, they always take out playlists at launch and then they add them later in. Call of Duty, Battlefield, they all do it. So, and then he was saying that microtransactions ruin the Halo experience, even though the microtransactions are cosmetic. They're only locked into being in the competitive, in a social playlist. Everything that's in competitive, all the transactions that you get from the playing cards go basically into Warzone. Everything else that's in Arena is locked out based on cosmetics, and that's it. And the way I looked at it, he doesn't think it's a $60 value due to the fact that you get 21 maps at launch for multiplayer. You get 5 Forge maps in December. You get another 15 maps added on after that, plus a campaign and a robust multiplayer. Would you feel that that's a $60 value?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see Halo 5 as not 60. I mean, just as in the content you get, yeah, I would say it's $60, $60.
So do you feel that it is ruining gaming for giving out microtransactions, and instead of putting microtransactions, would you prefer to having a season pass? Because the way the microtransactions work, according to what Bungie 343 said, was with the microtransactions, they're going to take a percentage of that to pay for our DLC, and then they're going to take the other percentage of that to pay for the tournaments for esports. And he was bitching about that because he feels that they should have just gave it all for us for free, which I've kindly tried to explain to this guy. There's not a gaming company out there that doesn't give you shit for fucking free, regardless of what it is. Yes, The Witcher 3 did do that, but that's the first one in, what, 6 years that's done that?
I mean, there's other companies that give you shit for free. I mean, like, but I think what The Witcher gave you for free compared to what you got to pay for is night and day. Like, I think the shit you got for
Yeah.
free wasn't like nothing extravagant anyway. It was
Well,
like armor and some shit.
you essentially pay for Witcher 3, so
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Nothing you get is free because if I have to get that for free, I have to. Well, nah, see, that's tricky because I can go on a site and just download that free shit for free. I can't use it unless I buy it. So
Grim. That's like saying the games that you get on PSN. Because I had this argument a long time ago too. That's like saying the games that you get on Xbox Live and in PSN. Those free games, are they really free if you're paying for a service?
no, you're paying for the service, but that's what I'm saying with the Witcher 3 situation and certain free DLC. That's a little tricky because I can go on Steam. Steam is free. My internet's not free, but Steam is free. And if a game is offering free DLC, I can go download that DLC for free. Now, do I need the game to use it? Yes. But the
No.
DLC, technically, I don't have to pay nothing for it.
But see, what he was getting at, man, was he was saying because Microsoft was doing that for Halo, it was ruining the Halo experience because of it. Because he felt that it was an unfair advantage that people were getting weapons off of a fucking playing card pack that was pretty much. I don't know if you play Titanfall, but you know what Titanfall has burn cards.
Yeah.
Halo basically contribute the same thing as Titanfall has with the burn cards. You get a one-use card, and then you would have to get it again in another pack. But that's only to a social playlist that you can only play. You can't do it off of anything else that's based on arena where all the competitive players are going to be at. So he was bitching that that is ruining the game because of that. Now, on my side of the argument, I'm saying how is that ruining the game? Because it's only locked on one playlist, and everything else is locked with none of that shit. Like everything you get set, you launch, you start with assault rifle and a pistol.
Everybody's the
So,
same, man.
yeah, everything's pretty much, the same across the board. And I rebuttal back to him saying that, you're getting free DLC out of that. Microtransactions are optional, so why would you bitch about something that's optional? I mean, I brung up, I don't know if you know the how Mass Effect 3 was.
Yeah, with the multiplayer.
Yeah, with the multiplayer. It's basically the same analogy with the multiplayer for Mass Effect 3, but
So
no one bitches about that.
basically,
What I'm
it's
saying?
like well, I did hear some people bitch, but I played it and I enjoyed the multiplayer Mass Effect 3. It's,
Oh, yeah.
I played this game. It's like Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah, same
I mean,
like Plants vs. Zombies.
because in Plants vs Zombies, right? If you play that long enough, you'll run across the agent outfit, right? Which will make your plant look like James Bond. And like
You
that,
talking about the P-plant.
yeah, that motherfucker could kill you in a couple of hits, but you can unlock that thing. It is all random. Even if you bought the packs, buying them, you still get random packs. You can buy those with coins, and you get coins like it ain't nothing.
And that's the same way Halo was.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't get
Yeah, Halo's the same way. You can literally the way the ranking system works, man, is you get rec cards from completing accommodations. You get rec cards for ranking up. You get fucking rec cards for after 1 or 2 matches you can go buy a fucking bronze or silver or gold card, depending on how well you do. And I mean, you get boost inside them packs, which will give you more requisition points for completing a match. So I mean, you have like 5 ways to get rec cards. So it's basically the same analogy like Plants vs. Zombie, where you can get them shits really fucking fast.
If it's like that, and even with Plants vs Zombies, they made those extra costumes and stuff that you can unlock that are kind of powerful. It's still balanced. If you're good, you're good. You're not gonna like just lose because there are literally games that are free to play where if you suck, you can win because there are like literally guns like in a game. It's called AVA on Steam. It's a free to play. There are guns they're like one-hit kills, and they're spray and pray weapons too. So like you're fucked basically. Someone hits you. So if it's balanced and all that good shit, and it's like PVZ or that's a representation of what it's supposed to be like, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and like I said, everything, all the requisition cards and the burn cards are all locked onto Warzone. It's not locked onto Arena. Like you basically have 3 things when you go into Halo. You have Campaign, Arena, and Warzone. As of now, in December they're going to give us Forge, and they're going to give us the new DLC and some new game modes. So I mean, to me, I don't think that that's unfair because, like I said, it's optional to go play fucking Warzone. I don't ever have to play Warzone. I can just only play Arena or I can play the campaign. So I don't see why anybody would bitch about that. And it's a social playlist anyways. It doesn't retain to your rank. When you play Warzone, everything's social.
Yeah.
Another question. Do you think people in the community should be able to talk shit about another console if they don't know anything about it? I want to ask you that too, seeing that you like to mess with people's minds and shit like that, and actually make people think. Because that was another problem that I had with this guy last night. Is he's talking about a game and a console and bashing something that he's never really had any time into, and he's saying that I'm involved in the community. I'm involved in the community. How can you be involved into a community if you're not in it? You're not experiencing the same experiences I feel every day.
Well, this is a tricky conversation, right?
Kenoji, go make the popcorn. I'm about to. This shit's about to go down, son.
This is gonna be real tricky. This is gonna be tricky.
The link is in the chat box, man.
Popcorn's on the way.
I'm popping it, son. Go ahead.
This is gonna be tricky because I don't want to say someone can't say something. Because I think, you have the freedom of speech. I don't think you should be saying nothing fucked up around here, but, you got the freedom of speech to say whatever you want. So, I mean...
Let me explain how he was arguing his analogies. He had an hour worth of game time, supposedly, by one of his friends, which he couldn't prove to me at all. The dude had watched Angry Joe's video. Now, literally, if you go watch our podcast, which is on Poppy2K's channel, last podcast he did, everybody. You go watch our podcast, and then you go watch Angry Joe's review. You will literally see everything that he said Angry Joe was saying.
Okay.
Literally, down from the campaign time to how the microtransactions worked to what the gripes he had with fucking Halo 5.
The
I
copy and
went
paste
back
argument,
after
basically.
I went back and after we had our debate, I went and watched Angry Joe's video, and I literally looked at everything he was saying was the exact thing Angry Joe was saying. So his analogy goes off of play the little hour of playtime, Angry Joe's video, and what he reads on N4G. Do you think what you read and what you hear everybody else say should be based off of your opinion, or do you feel that you should actually be able to go experience it yourself?
I feel that you should be able to experience something. You have to experience something yourself to understand it to its fullest. There are some things. Well, see, there are some things that you could take into consideration. Like, if you're around people and y'all like the same shit, and you take their opinions into consideration because you know you guys are similar, that would make sense. But if you're having some type of discussion or debate about something, and you're just bringing up a bunch of opinions, I mean, if they're not based upon factual evidence or something that you don't have no facts to back nothing you're saying up, then it would be silly to bring up in a debate. If you're just having a conversation, you're just having a conversation.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at. He really didn't bring any factual evidence. Like when he kept saying that microtransactions were ruining gaming and DLC was ruining gaming, but he didn't understand that that came from expansion packs and from free-to-play models from where? The PC. We didn't have that on the consoles until the PC started implementing them same policies, and then once the PC implemented them, then we started getting them. And if you really want to go back and look at it, it wasn't Microsoft that did that. He was hating on Microsoft the whole time. It wasn't Microsoft that implemented them policies. It was EA and other companies out there, like prime example, fucking Activision. How much fucking shit did you see on goddamn Rock Band when Rock Band first came out for the DLC content?
Well, Activision does. They do Guitar Hero.
Well, Guitar Hero, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a lot. Now that it is tricky though, because on PC, like at that time, like when Xbox first came on the scene, right? And actually, Xbox is a kind of a prime example of what I was talking about consoles and PCs. But anyway, you go to the Xbox era, right? The original one. From what I remembered, and I could be remembering wrong because it really wasn't that many games on console that had DLC. But one game I know for sure had DLC was Halo 2. And that's the only fucking game.
Yes,
that's the only game I remember having DLC. So
it was the only game that had DLC back then.
So if you want to say Microsoft brought DLC to the consoles, you could say, to be honest with you, you could say Microsoft kind of even started, I guess you could say DLC or whatever, kind of. Because on PC they were more preferred as, or called
expansion packs.
So, yeah, I know. And Halo brought out the map packs and stuff. So, but I mean, did they start microtransactions? I think microtransactions.
If you go back and you look at Halo 2, they actually called it an expansion pack. They didn't call it a DLC.
Can
when it first came out, they called it an expansion pack.
Can you just say that Microsoft already adopted a business practice that already existed?
Of course.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they got that from remember, Microsoft was trying to bring you a PC experience to your console.
Yeah, because it was the first console ever at that time that actually had an internet port in the back. And a year later, they were the first ones to come out with Xbox Live, which, in all honesty, that originated from fucking Dreamcast. Because Dreamcast was the first console to do online gaming, but it just didn't take off.
Oh no, other systems did online gaming a long time ago. It just was, and it was only in Japan. But I get you, because the Dreamcast had, like I said earlier, Dreamcast, you could get a keyboard and mouse, you could install Windows on it, you could search the web, you could play even computer games on the Dreamcast using Windows. So the Dreamcast and if you wanted to say like the Xbox, the original one, was almost like a Dreamcast too, you could say that. It would make sense.
Would it be the first in North America though?
Yeah, it wasn't the first in North America, because the first in North America that had that process was the Dreamcast. That's why everybody always includes the Dreamcast as the first system that did online gaming, because it was the first one in North America that did online gaming. If you look back.
Yeah, because I think way back in the day, I think the NES in Japan or the Super NES did online gaming, like way back in the day. It wasn't that popular either, so.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like when people say Microsoft was the first to charge you for online when it comes to the consoles, actually, in Japan, Nintendo was doing that with the N64. So if you want to get technical, no.
But I mean, we need to subject to America because that's where we're at. So most of these people aren't understanding. But I do get what you're saying. But I mean, that was his rebuttal argument. Now you are correct about Halo 2 because it was 2 years after Halo 2 came out. They did come out with an expansion pack which gave you 9 maps, and that expansion pack because I do remember buying that. So you are correct that they did do that, but they adopted that practice from the PC. It's the same thing with the free-to-play models and microtransactions. That was heavily in from PC. And then they adopted the same practice. Which, I mean, if any company is looking at what another company is doing and they see that they're making money, why wouldn't they want to do it, you know? That's just good business. But, I mean, that was his rebuttal. He was basically talking about a community that he has no time in. He's, how can I put it? To me, he was another one-stop. He was reading fucking shit off of M4G and everything like that, and not actually spending time into that community. He didn't even have his own console of that product. Do you think someone should be able to do that, seeing that they're a YouTuber?
It depends.
They have a fan base?
I don't have the Xbox One or PS4, right?
But you don't talk about them either, do you?
No, I do, but I also make sure what I'm talking about is true. So,
Okay.
you know, no one's going to like it's I've been around Sony dudes that would sit here and tell you to this day that you can't you need live. You know how you need live for damn near everything on the 360?
Yeah.
You'll need live for
Because
everything.
they have paywalls. It's the same thing with the Xbox One.
Well, no, the paywalls are gone. They've been gone. Like, you only need the paywall for the.
What I'm saying is on the 360 there was paywalls. That was the reason why you needed it. Because remember back in the day with the 360, if you didn't have gold, you couldn't fucking watch Netflix.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like there were people I'd be around and they would know that the Xbox One removed these paywalls, but still say they have the paywalls because I don't know. Honestly.
Well, it is because
Homer. Do you consider microtransactions a paywall?
Listen, I consider microtransactions a paywall and a free-to-play model when you're literally hindered on having to get stuff. Like, for example, I was saying this last night. Look at League of Legends. League of Legends, you can grind your ass off, spend 2 or 3 weeks to get a good character, or you can go buy that character. To me, that's a paywall because the character's locked out, and I have to work my ass off for it. Now, if I'm playing something like Halo, where a lot of the stuff I really don't care too much if I'm working for it or not, or it's a burn card. Because I made this example earlier off air. With Halo, let's say I go to a requisition station and I go buy a fucking rocket launcher, and there, got an enemy combatant sitting right up behind me. As soon as I buy that rocket launcher, he sees me come out of that fucking screen.
Yeah.
He just got to hit me in the back, and then that rocket launcher's gone. It's burnt out. So I've lost that card. So now if I'm playing something like trying to think of a good one. Oh, I know. PlanetSide 2. That has a lot of paywalls into it because look at all the shit that you have to buy. And then you can't carry that over to other teams that you're on because there's 3 teams in PlanetSide 2. So once you buy something for the Terrans, I can't go take it over to the other fucking team, which I can't remember the name right now, because it's locked into that group. So that is a form of a paywall. So yeah, some games do have paywalls that just aren't needed there.
Well, like I said, this is a prime example of just what I like to do. Because I use paywall a lot, and I use the term a lot. But I never really knew what it really meant. So I looked it up, right? A paywall is a system that prevents internet users from accessing certain web content without a paid subscription.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say getting on PSN is a paywall. You could say getting on Xbox Live is a paywall, right? Now, what you said about PlanetSide 2, I mean, I don't know. Like, in order to do something, do you need to pay a subscription to do it?
No, you don't have to do it. It's completely free. You don't have to pay a subscription. But if you want a good weapon, if you want something to actually sustain yourself, or you want a good vehicle, you're either gonna have to pay, or you're gonna have to pay, or you're gonna have to sit there and grind your ass off for about 3 weeks just to get that good weapon or vehicle.
And
like it literally is one pay. Like it's literally, if you're not paying for shit, it's not that good.
So, Graham, essentially, so is it fair for me to assume that everything within PSN and everything within Xbox Live is considered a paywall? Every item?
Not necessarily, because you can get on Xbox Live without paying for it. You just have a silver. You
Right.
a silver
Yep.
member. You can get on PSN without paying for Plus, but I don't think it has a name. I think you're just online or some shit. I don't think it has a name for that. So, but
Well,
what?
if you're talking about multiplayer, Grim, it would be considered a paywall because if I get on my account right now on Silver and I go try to play like Destiny or Halo or something like that, I can't play online
Oh no,
multiplayer.
no, no, yeah. But he was saying like all of is all of PSN or all of Live a paywall? No, because
No.
some of it, the paywall part would be the online access or the games for gold.
Yeah.
Those would be the paywall part. Just getting on it, you can get on it. So I mean,
Okay.
it just. But see, that's what I like to do. Some people think it's odd, but I like to know a little bit more because I use that word all the time. But am I using it correctly? I don't know.
Or perceiving it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people would just think paywall. Okay, that's like saying I have to pay for something because something's blocking me. So they would just take anything that's blocking you and consider a paywall. Like technically, by the definition, you can't have a paywall. And by the definition I'm looking at, which is the Webster one, I like to use that one because it's accepted by colleges and stuff like that, and shit like that. So it's something
So
commonly used.
is YouTube behind a paywall without internet?
Nah, see that's different. Now you could say YouTube Red and that YouTube Music is because that's a subscription.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you having now that's tricky. Is having the internet or cable a subscription? I don't know if they even refer to it as that. Just having it in general.
Like a what? Some places call it a utility. Some people call it a service.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
calling it service.
But and see there goes again. Like go back to the console PC thing. They can call it multiple things. It's all the same
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like someone would say to get into the club, you gotta you gotta pay to get into the club. Some people would say that's a paywall. Well, by this definition, technically not because it has to. You're not on the internet, so it doesn't fucking. That has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
Now, to the definition, get some more meanings behind it, then we can't really say that, But if someone said that, you will understand what they meant too. So it's weird.
So you do feel that some YouTubers, because to me, if you're a YouTuber and you're talking about a console or a platform or whatever, you should have experiences in actual time playing it. So you do feel that you're allowed to talk about something that you don't actually have yourself, or what?
If you talk about stuff you never played or nothing, it should be general knowledge at least. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
for example, like I never played Halo 5, right? That's why I used the Plants vs Zombies as an analogy. Now you played it, so by you telling me it's the same with the microtransactions, now I can understand it better. Because
Yeah.
I didn't play it for myself.
Like I said, to me, the perfect analogy for me to put it into it is it's more like the Mass Effect 3 or Plants vs. Zombies analogy to it, but it's not focused on going in the multiplayer. Now, I would have got pissed with him and I would have been correct with him if he would have said that it was on the competitive side of thing and they gave us loadouts and you could pick out the best damn weapons based off the loadouts, then that would have been a little janky. But what it is there is it's on a social playlist. I don't have to actually play that, and everything that I get, it's a burn card. I don't actually keep that shit. The only thing that I keep is cosmetics, stances, assassinations, camos for my fucking visor camos, shit like that, and that's it. So I would say it is a lot like Plants vs Zombies because that's pretty much how it is in with
Yeah, because
Plants
in
vs
Plants vs
Zombies
Zombies, they have things you keep. They have consumables that you can only use for a
too.
round
One
or
time
two,
use.
and then it's done.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine for Halo.
And to me, it's fine too because I mean they're giving you free content. I mean, one of the reasons why I enjoy it and why I was kind of pissed that the guy was even talking about it is I don't have to worry about now my friends being locked out on a fucking DLC. How many times have you ever played a first-person shooter or a game where the DLC came out and you're wondering if your friends got it or not? To
This
me,
is
it's
fucking me up.
a great analogy. It's a
This
great
is
thing to do.
this is fucking me up because so essentially what you guys are saying is your opinion is only as good as your observation.
Yes.
When it
that's
comes to what?
So I'm just thinking like in the mindset of like an astrophysicist, right? Like these guys don't actually go out into outer space and experience it. They're all here on planet Earth observing space and describing it, right?
From telescope. Can I use telescopes and shit?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
use telescopes.
yeah,
Well, I mean that's still yeah, you're right because it's
and,
still an observation. You know, they can
yeah.
see it, but they're not really fucking there. So,
To
uh,
me, I
So,
feel
but
that
can
you
you have
actually
a
have to have
legitimate?
time into the game, or you have to have time into the console before you could even say anything about it, because you truly won't be able to know if you're just reading shit off a goddamn computer,
well, I mean,
or listen to someone.
see, you know, if it's see that's tricky because you don't have to own. Like I said, I don't own the Xbox One. I've used it. I've used the PS4. I don't own any other one. I plan on getting one of them. I just haven't decided yet. So,
Mhm.
but there are certain things that like you could say like, and you wouldn't be correct without owning one. Like if I said the PS4 had a light bar on the controller, I'm not making that shit up. You
Well,
know,
yeah,
you know.
but that's what I'm agreeing. But what I'm saying is to bash or to hate on something that you don't actually have your own time into. Are you just hating and bashing because you want to hate and bash because it's the popular thing to do, or are you actually just doing it because you feel like what I invested my time into is not worth it? Like that's what I'm getting at. Like this guy
Well,
was basically
now,
nitpicking, critiquing something that he's never even had his own
Well,
experiences with.
Armor, how about this? How about we just flip the script? What happened if he gave you your observation, right? What happened if he gave you his opinion, but it was all positive about Halo? Would it have
It
still?
still would. No, I still would have been pissed because you can't never make anything positive. It was like when he said, "Wouldn't you want Halo to come out and be the best and have no contenders?" He said that last night. I said, there's nowhere in this world that you're gonna make a game or you're gonna make something in this world where it's not gonna have a contender, because
Right.
you have to have competition because that's the only way something's gonna evolve and grow. You know. So no, even if he would have said that, because I'm a hardcore Halo fan, you know this as well as I do,
Oh
Thanos,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
we did a 2.5 hour podcast on the things that I disliked about the
Right.
goddamn game, and the things that I thought that were correct that they did. To me, the microtransaction, could they ruin it down the line with it? Yes, I do agree with people on that. But what they're doing now, if they keep this same practice they have now, by giving us free DLC, giving us this and that, and keeping it optional and just keeping it in one game mode, I think it's the perfect move. And I think a lot of other companies should do the same move too. Because I mean, the way the community is going to grow and keep going is when the DLC launches. How many times have you seen a community spike when a DLC comes out? And then it de-spikes after a few weeks that the DLC after the few weeks the DLC's already came out.
Hmm.
So the way I look at it is if you're giving us free DLC and you're giving us 4 DLC packs every few months for the next year, I'm going to want to keep coming back because that's free. I can just download and start playing it. That was the same way it was with Mass Effect. Mass Effect did the exact same thing, where every time Mass Effect came out, I went back, played it, kept playing it for a couple of more months, and then kept going back, and it had a longer life value because of that. Halo's doing the exact same thing, and if I'm not correct me if I'm wrong, Grim. Plants vs Zombies does the same thing too. They gave you all the DLC for that for free.
I believe so.
Yeah, because I remember when it first came out, the first few map packs were free. I haven't played it in the last year, but I do remember playing the shit out of it, and every time it would come out with a new free pack or a new free DLC or a new free character. So, I mean, to me, that keeps the game value long. And the reason why Plants vs. Zombie gave you all that shit for free is because they had the microtransactions in from day one. But it was nothing that hindered the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel that it is a good business practice if they keep it the way it is. I don't think it's a
Mhm.
good business practice if they do something like a free-to-play model. Or
But
prime
it
example.
is a business practice that can be easily abused, right?
Oh yeah, it can be easily abused because they could have that. If he would have came to me and said that, and it would have been this way too, that Halo would have did the same business practices like somewhat like Mass Effect did in some ways too, because everybody doesn't remember Mass Effect had a season pass for the campaign, but it
Yeah. Yeah.
had free for the multiplayer. To me, they were abusing that practice because they kind of double dipped in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Because you would go buy the season pass and buy all the or you would buy the campaign DLCs separate, and then if you wanted to go into multiplayer and you wanted to get a nice set of armor and stuff, which was optional, you would go buy one of them fucking
Oh,
packs.
okay. You're right. Right.
And that's a way of abusing it. Now, if Halo would do the same thing that Mass Effect did, I would say that's abusing the system.
Mm.
Or if they did that with the multiplayer, where they locked out some of the stuff in the multiplayer for the arena and said, well, you can buy it with these packs, that would have been abuse of the system too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it. Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be abused. I do agree with you that it can be abused.
Yeah.
But I do not, you do agree that people should be able to talk about stuff that's on YouTube that they don't have any real knowledge on besides what they hear, Kompachi? Or just general knowledge in general? Is he still there?
I think he fell asleep. I think he might
I
have
think,
some
I think he's
audio
downloading
problems.
that shit.
Yeah, no.
What do you
I
What
think
do
he
you
has
think,
some problems.
Kenoshi?
I think he's busy making popcorn.
Alright, well, if Graham ain't back and Kenoshi ain't there, let's go ahead and sign this shit out.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Alright, give your outros.
Everybody out there, all two of you,
Ah, damn, man, I feel
thank
sad like a
you
motherfucker.
for being on the chat. Yo, Armor, you did a phenomenal job, man. And for your first podcast, let me just say that I'm proud to call you my friend, and it is an honor that I met you and I know you, man. So
Yeah,
much love and respect.
can't wait
Oh,
to
now
hear
you come back, right? You gotta fuck up
Yeah,
my
now the little
outro.
cocksucker
You
comes
gotta fuck
back,
it
you
all
know?
up.
How you do that little fucking clap shit for his ass? Hold on. I'll fucking shit him
You
off.
gotta buy Poppy's DLC, son. Shout out to Poppy 2K. Oh shit, that was perfect.
That's the rage horn.
Okay,
Yeah.
so go ahead, Kenoshi. Not Kenoshi. Yeah, go ahead, Kenoshi, man. Because I know Grim ain't
This is
there.
Kenoshi Abominito, and for some of you who I talk to often, I have a little surprise coming, so get ready.
I'm afraid now.
I'll tell you guys off the air before you guys leave.
Alright, Grim, you there? You're not there, Grim.
Yeah, I think he's having mic issues.
Alright. Everybody that's Grim Kapashi, he's got obviously some technical issues going on right now. Everybody give him a shout out, subscribe to his YouTube channel, hit him up when he does his podcast. Keep him gaming, bro. This is your boy Armor Sentry. I want to appreciate everybody that came in tonight. You know, my first podcast. Obviously, it wasn't what I wanted because a certain YouTuber wasn't here, but find out what happened on that situation, and I'll get back to y'all on that. So, peace, and keep it gaming.